Welcome back, y'all, to Leaguing Out Episode 1. Yes, we are considering our prior episode more of a trial run. This will be our first, I'm using air quotes, real episode.
Episode 0 is still canon, but it's the zero issue.
We're pulling a new 52, but like reverse.
Nothing we do is new 52. But anyway, it's me, Laney, spoiler alert.
And this is Cybershine3. I think we got a real fun segment today. For you, or a real fun couple of segments, really. We got our classics. We're still going to talk about our picks of the week. We're going to yap for a bit.
And we're going to slide to the Bat Fam, as
naturally.
always.
But we also have some new stuff. And I think we should start off with a new one right now. This is a little number we call Character of the Day. It's real simple. Just think of a character you like that you're feeling today. Think of who you're...
For me today, I think that's got to be Donna Troy. Can't really explain it other than shout out Donna Troy. If you want know more about Donna Troy, read Who is Donna Troy, or Who is Donna Troy, or Who is Wonder Woman. Donna Troy was Wonder Woman at that time. They don't really know what to do with her, so they keep asking, who is she? And someday we'll know without it being retconned 100 times. But as of right now, who is Donna Troy? A cool member of the Titans.
I honestly don't know who I'm really feeling today. You know what? I think I'm gonna lock in. I think I'm gonna lock in Quentin Quire, Kid Omega.
You would.
Because I don't know why, but today I feel smarter than everyone and correct about everything. So I guess I'm in my Quentin phase right now.
Are you talking new X-Men Quentin or adjectiveless X-Men Quentin? Or somewhere in between.
Or actually, I don't know. Actually, funny story. I did take the Omega Kids off my pull list this week. Oh. So even though I'm feeling Quentin Quire, I'm not supporting Quentin Quire.
I think that's a good transition to our pre-reading pick of the week.
Yeah.
So for me, it's Green Arrow. Anytime there's a Green Arrow book, I gotta support Green Arrow. Oliver Queen is everything Bruce Wayne ever wanted to be and hopes he could be. And Chris Condon has been writing a fantastic run that's unfortunately being cut too short. But I'm still going to keep reading it. I love seeing Roy Harper. I love seeing Liana. She's incredible. Ollie's a flop as always, and we love him for it.
I want to circle back around to that when we get to the Yap session. Mm-hmm. But for now, I'll say I've also been really enjoying Condon's work. I think... we finally have a green... I love Joshua Williamson very dearly, but you can tell his Green Arrow is more like vibes than actual Green Arrow.
He had 6 issues of vibes he really wanted to do and stretch it out into a 12-issue story.
I like a lot of the Absolute Power tie-ins in his run. I do. I think the one where it's just Ollie just rounding up a bunch of people is really interesting. You get that internal narration. But what I will say is that I think Chris has actually done his homework. He feels like somebody who's been reading this character for a long time. I think Montos on art is one of the best decisions.
Yeah. I think the fact that Chris is ready to have Connor Hawke and Sandra Kane crossover shows that he's done his homework. That's almost a callback to Brotherhood of the Fist.
Yes, very Brotherhood of the Fist. Very I know what the trade's called, but I don't actually know what the arc's called. Did you ever read Kicking Assassins?
I don't think so.
It's like a Cass Rose Wilson crossover. Okay.
This just sounds like the 4-issue Cass mini to try and redeem her when she was the leader of the League of Assassins.
What a time.
1 year later.
Yeah, so if that was on my pull list, it'd be pick of the week. But I actually have to do my pulls.
Did you steal that from me instead?
I could. Well, I do. I'm excited about Book of Revelation. I don't think it's going to be the best thing this week, but I'm looking forward to it. We're getting more of Ryan North's new relaunched Fantastic Four. I love Humberto Ramos, who's one of my favorite artists in the biz, so I'm always excited to get more Humberto Ramos. But I mean, who else was it going to be? We're getting a new arc of Absolute Wonder Woman starting out this week. I've made it no secret, Kelly Thompson is one of my favorite authors working in the business right now. And I've loved this new interpretation of Diana. And I'm just really excited where we go next. We've saved all the people from the labyrinth, so we have a whole new supporting cast that we get to explore.
And with the big reveal at the end of the last issue, we'll see how that, or rather in the middle of the last issue, we'll see how that gets played into this.
The guest artist for this arc will be Matthias Bergara from Coda, which I've heard a lot of good things about, specifically how good the art in Coda is, so that's exciting. And we're slowly working our way to issue 15, where we'll get the Absolute Batman crossover, which I am pretty excited for, in all honesty. This is the first.
I've ever been excited for Batman.
I know. The first interaction between the members of the Absolute Trinity.
After we just saw their
so.
villains crossing over with
Yes.
Absolute Evil.
Yes, with Absolute Evil. So I'm very excited.
I realized that I got too excited talking about Green Arrow. Didn't actually walk through the rest of my pull list.
Yeah, what else do you have on your
So
polls?
I've got Book of Revelation, like you said. It'll be pretty solid, I bet. I'm excited to see more of this world. One of my favorite things about these big world-changing events is just going into the little world-building details. So like World of Revelation, I didn't pull it because of the price tag, but it'd be right up my alley. And I'm excited to see what Book of Revelation has to offer. I'm excited to see the Ghost of Philadelphia, who we all kind of know who it is, but I'm excited to see what she's doing here. I'm excited to see more about what the people Revelation has surrounded himself with. And then the other thing on my list is the new issue of The Flash. I've kind of fallen off The Flash ever since Bad Moon Rising started, just because that got dragged out a bunch. But I'm excited to see what Mark Waid does again. I'm in a weird space where I don't love when we keep bringing back the same writers to do things over and over again on books they've already told stories on. But I like Impulse, and the idea of an Impulse point sounds really fun, and I have to see what that's going to be. Even if I'm kind of ambivalent about DCKO, and I'm not a huge fan of bringing Waid back onto The Flash after he did his iconic run, I like Impulse. What can I say? Shout out to all the Impulse heads out there.
The fact that Impulse Point is a real thing and not a one-off joke that like Bart would say, I'm fascinated, Frank.
Yeah, I have to know what this is going to be.
Yeah, I think that's all good stuff. I glazed your pick. Are you excited for Absolute Wonder Woman as well?
I'm excited beyond words. I know I should be buying the book, but frankly, the fact that I have you here so I can just keep reading your issues has made me not want to spend the money on it. But one day I will go and get all the trades.
I was gonna say, I think another compliment I have to give Miss Thompson. What's great about Kelly Thompson's work is that it is really good month to month.
Mm-hmm.
I've said that about Bop. I've said that about Absolute Wonder Woman, but it also reads so seamlessly in trade.
Yeah.
What of her series did I read? The Mr. and Mrs. X, or did she do Rogue Gambit?
She did both.
Both read great in trades, but I think also would have read very well month to month.
Yeah. There's an art to writing for the trade while still having a good month-to-month story, and that's something that I feel like a lot of writers have struggled with as companies push more for write your art for the trades. Like, I love Ben Percy's X-Force and Wolverine. Those are very clearly written for the trades and written with more of his novel writing experience in mind than comic book, which is a very different medium, which meant that the month-to-month experience could be unsatisfying sometimes as it felt like nothing really happened. But then when you read it in chunks or in the trades, you see all the development, and it's much more satisfying to have the complete picture all together.
Before we move on to this segment, I also wanted to say that even though I will not be pulling it, I wanted to shout out the Absolute Batman annual that's coming out. That's not
2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks, my bad.
Yeah, not this week. That's next week.
I guess that's a preview. I'm not pulling that, but
tune into episode 2 for when we talk about that.
yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about the art because it just came out. The ice art.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job, DWJ.
Shout out Daniel Warren Johnson for so many reasons.
That's based. How do you feel that you've been to his comic shop? How do you feel
Incredible.
about
I
that?
even talked someone into buying an issue that he signed.
This is good.
I can be very persuasive sometimes.
I think on that note, we should move on to a very fun topic that we just brainstormed. So this segment we're going to call Cross Universe Ships. It's pretty much exactly what it says on the tin. We're going to talk about... So actually, wait, I will say we're going to go to this at two angles. We're going to talk about our own cross-universe ships, and then we're going to talk about popular cross-universe ships and our feelings about that. Mm-hmm. But I think we should start with our own before we get to...
I want you to kick it off with the first one.
So, one of my biggest cross-universe ships, I've felt this for a while, and frankly, seeing the recent Marvel DC announcements has really confirmed this for me. I think John and Doctor Strange could have some really good tension together. Yeah.
I wasn't sure where you were going at first because I was talking Stewart, are we talking Kent? And then you said
I can
and
make
Doctor
arguments for
Strange.
all of them, but
But when you say Doctor Strange, it's got to be Constantine.
I think there's some real potential there for some real old man angst going on.
We love good old man angst. Isn't that why House stayed on the air for so long?
Exactly. Actually, that would be the dynamic. If I was to describe like what their dynamic, it would be Wilson and House for sure. Like Constantine's like, look at this weird backdoor magic shit that I came up with, and Strange is like, but the spell book says to do it like this.
And Constantine says, "You're gay. Here's magic."
And then he kisses him.
And we all clap.
And the fact that Hayden Sherman's drawing that, which like everything Hayden Sherman draws looks gay as hell.
They're incredible, and I don't know how they do it. Possibly the gayest artist since Rob Liefeld.
Truly up there. So that's my first. I would say that's my most vanilla. That's my most vanilla like cross universe. We're gonna get crazy here in a sec, but
I think this might be a crazier one. Akihiro and Starfire.
yes. So you.
This is there frankly isn't much of an explanation for this beyond me just having this idea pop into my head as if from above, and I don't know what to think about it or how to explain it.
It was truly divine inspiration on your part.
Other than the chaotic space bisexuals, because I think Akihiro could do a space arc. That's something Logan hasn't done enough. So let's put a Wolverine in space.
Well, I mean, he wore Fang's costume for what,
Yeah.
years? Like,
yeah. And I guess Akihiro was in space during Marauders Volume 2, the Steve Orlando one.
Yeah.
That got some mixed reception, but I think if we put Akihiro in space, put him with Corey, there'll be something going on there, and it'll be chaotic.
I think like warrior child of like a prominent warrior family is always a good pairing.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously with Corey, there's a lot like more like. Well, okay. So here's the thing: is that like. There's like a vague racialization to like Corey and the rest of the Tamaranians that like I feel like if handled correctly could play well off of Dakin's backstory of oh god, not feudal Japan, it's like pre-World War II, right? Is that when he was born?
Sounds right. I'm not up on my Wolverine lore. This is what I have you here for.
Yeah.
You're the expert on Wolverine side characters.
That is true.
But I just think that the idea of someone with pheromone powers and someone who learns languages by kissing, with all of Akihiro's experience in languages, Corey would be a polyglot.
It would be messy, but that's kind of the point. That's why it would be enjoyable, is how messy it would be.
They should not work, which is why I think they work.
I think that's a strong pick.
It does kind of give Akihiro and Aurora, which is going on. Last I was reading, Helverine, that was still pairing.
Yeah, she just showed up in Helverine.
Okay, there we go. It is kind of a similar idea, but Corey and Aurora have some similar characteristics, but I think the differences are what makes this more interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a strong one. I'm going to go for maybe something a bit more crazy, but I think also something that realistically could happen. Actually, no, I take that back. This is actually incredibly realistic, and the fact that nobody's talked about it sooner is wild to me. Carol Danvers x Kate Kane.
This is messy. This is messy.
It would be incredibly messy. It would, and the breakup would like be earth shattering, literally / literal, shattering breakup. But I think the soldier daughter trauma.
It's strong in both of them.
It would be strong in both of them. I think you get a fun Superman Bruce dynamic where one works in the light, one works in the shadow. I think the fact that like Carol has never had a normal relationship with another woman ever. Like, name a female character in Carol's circle. Rogue, Shulky.
There's
like,
nothing heterosexual about what Rogue and Carol, their whole thing, going back to Claremont.
Her whole thing with She-Hulk in Civil War II, that there's not really a heterosexual explanation.
For anything she's done.
And then you look at KK, who again cannot have normal relationship. That's kind of the whole point of her dating Maggie Sawyer, is that they shouldn't be dating. Like, they should just be two women who know each other. But Kate doesn't know how to interact with a woman if she's not sleeping with her. And I like eggs. I like that.
I see the vision here.
And do you see the Scarlet Witch as well?
I do. And speaking of Scarlet Witch, actually no, I don't have any ideas for her.
That would go crazy. Certified Wanda hater being like, but...
No, my next one, Tim Drake and Kate Bishop. They're two sides of the same coin, and I can see them being drawn to each other in like a Young Justice, Young Avengers crossover, if only because they're the only other source of sanity with those two teams.
I like that. I like a very
Because
grounded
in that
approach.
in that dynamic of Young Justice and Young Avengers, you'd have Bart and Tommy doing whatever the heck they do, and they'd be probably getting arrested a couple times. You'd have like Connor and I don't know what's Young Avenger. I can see Connor and Billy going and sitting in a corner and sitting quietly and parallel playing. Cassie Sandsmark and America Chavez talking about the magic of they're all. I was gonna go. They're all female. They're all female homes or all female away from homes really, and how their friends need to figure out what being gay means. And meanwhile, you have Kate and Tim standing around it kind of awkwardly, and they end up dating, and it doesn't really work. But I'd like to see that fail.
You do love like a girl fail moment of like, look at this flop of a man that like it just isn't working out.
Yeah,
I respect that.
I think that they would probably be the most normal couple that you could pick from those two teams. But I think that's why it wouldn't work, which is why it'd be fun to see.
Does this play into your master chess plan of slowly revealing that Kate Bishop is a lesbian?
There's no slowly about it.
Yeah.
Actually, I think she.
But does this play into like your grand like Moriarty style like?
This will end up with Kate realizing that she is not straight and that America has been right there this whole time. Yes.
I like this. I think we should do one more each, and then we'll move on to some more popular examples.
Yeah.
So my last lock-in, this is totally like harebrained, crazy, like.
And the other ones weren't?
Silly, goofy. I have a strong case that Kane Marco the Juggernaut should date not Mongol 1, but Mongol 2. Let me explain. Both of them have daddy issues related to their violent tendencies. Both of them have weird queer relationships with their nemesis, regardless of them may or may not being related to them. Because let's be honest, there's a little bit of queerness going on between Kane and Charles. Even if they are they're not even half brothers. They're
stepbrothers.
Stepbrothers, yeah. But there's something weird going on there. Let's be real. There's something weird going on there. And then everything about Mongol versus Superman is like gay as hell. Like a big man seeing another big man and being like, "Ooh, I'm intimidated by you. I must make my life's mission destroying you." Like that's gay as hell. And I also think purple and red would be good complementing colors for some art.
I think that purple goes with anything, so I like this.
I think Mongol 2 and Kane Marco Juggernaut would be a fun.
Interesting.
It'd be a fun pairing.
What do you think Superman and Charles would think about this?
I think Clark would be very happy for the two of them, and Charles would try to look at their fantasies about each other, and then Kane would have to
put the helmet back on.
Yeah, put the helmet back on.
So the helmet does stay on.
Unfortunately, the helmet does have to stay on.
Okay, and then last but not least, I only really had two ready going into this, so let's spitball one as we go. Mm-hmm. Mia Dearden, that's the base I have.
Okay, so you have Mia, and you want a Marvel character that you think would go well with Mia.
I would go with the easy route and say Kate Bishop again, but I don't want to.
Well, you want to talk YJ? I was thinking Patriot.
Okay.
Because
the problem is that both of them haven't really been developed enough, so it's hard to mix.
That's why it would work as a ship, though.
Okay.
Is that they're both like the forgotten one.
However, do you think either of them are straight?
No.
That's the issue here.
I wanted Patriot to date Prodigy, personally.
Well, you want Prodigy to date anyone.
Well, yeah, except for Speed.
Mm-hmm. Although, speaking of Speed, I could see a Mia Dearden in Speed.
Oh, sure. She likes speedsters.
And with her whole thing with the Dodgers, kind of just her wanting to be into the bad boy type, I could see Tommy filling that same role for her. They could be fun. I think she would date Tommy just to piss off Bart, and that'd be really funny. Although Mia and Bart don't really have that much of a dynamic. They were on the Teen Titans together for a while. If you want the Archer that would want to piss off Bart, that's Arrowhead. That's Sissy, but she's already dated Cassie in my heart. Secret and Iron Lad would go crazy. That'd be a good ship. Both just struggling to figure out what's going on. Or very specifically Kid Immortus, because he's got that like ghost vibe. You just like Kid Immortus. I really do like Kid Immortus. We want to take every opportunity on this podcast we can to talk about Avengers Academy. It's a great design. That's a very cool idea. Everything about Avengers Academy is great. So you want to get into some popular ships?
Let's hit the bullseye right in the target. Come on, let's
I'm not
hit
too
it.
familiar at all with any popular cross-company ships, so I'm going to let you take the lead and we'll pick these apart
I will
together.
take the lead. I think we have to knock off the big one first, though. Let's talk about Deadpool and Harley.
I like watching Deadpool suffer or be gay, so putting him with Harley automatically doesn't fill those two conditions.
I hate when people are like, it would be a good cross-universe ship. Two people who, like, if you squint, are kind of similar. No.
Did we kind of do that a little bit? Sure, but we did it with good characters.
I think we had way more arguments than most people did. They're just like, lol random, lol silly, both a little gay.
Hyenas. No, I do think Bud and Lou ex-princess would work.
That would go crazy.
And this is Bud and Lou and princess. This is a throuple
It's
situation.
a throuple. Okay, so you're under the assumption that Bud and Lou aren't brothers, then. Or are you, and you're going for the problematic route? I respect you for that.
I do not think they're brothers. I think that they think of each other as fellow Spartan warriors.
I like this. This is canon now. Yeah, I just hate anytime I see like Deadpool and Harley art. I will say though, I thought it was really ingenious in the New 52. They introduced Red Tool as a parody of Deadpool, and then did a whole storyline about how this wouldn't work out, and she ends up with Ivy. That's genius.
Anything that ends with Harley ending up with Ivy, that is a good storyline, I think.
So that's my take on that. I think the next one we should talk about actually happened thanks to Amalgam. And to bring Tim back into the fold. How do we feel about Tim and Jubilee? Because there's some Tim and Jubilee fans out there that believe it's the best ship for both of them.
I don't think it's either their OTPs. I do actually like this one, though. They're both very 90s. Tim is very much inspired by skater culture, and Jubilee is a mall rat through and through. I think that dynamic is fun. And I think the idea of doing it now, I think that both of them, let's take them back in the 90s. They're pinned to those roots forever. They can't escape it. So I think leaning into that could be fun. I don't know, what do you think? It sounds like you are not as in favor of this as I am.
Okay. So I do not have strong opinions about like who...
Well, I do have strong opinions about who Tim and Jubilee should be with, and that is Connor and Laura.
Yes.
But...
Well, so here's what I was going to say. I have a very strong opinion on who Tim should be with. Tim should be with Connor. Mm-hmm. End of story. I don't really have strong opinions on who Jubilee should be with. I do think, though, Tim is too much of a straight razor for her. When you're raised by Logan and you hang out with Storm and maybe her most queer era where she's chilling with Betsy and Dazzler is like the 3-woman squad on the Outback X-Men. Like, I don't think like Tim, I get A plus in class.
No, I think that Tim Drake might be too straight for her. However, I do think Robin is a good fit for her.
See, that's a good point.
Because Tim kind of has that dual life going on, whereas Robin, he's the skater. He's probably into some...
Well, here's the thing. If the timeline had worked out, I think Dick and Jubilee would have been a fun...
Okay.
They have very similar energy, I think.
And if writers actually want to keep using Shogo, which makes Jubilee feel a bit older, then that means that Jubilee and Dick could be in that age range.
That'd be fun.
Just with Marvel and DC's different sliding time scales.
I think that's strong. And now I think we're going to talk about maybe the most recent one. I've only really seen this pop off since Marvel vs. DC came out. Captain America X Wonder Woman. There's been it's always existed. It's always been there. But I feel like recently I've noticed a massive uptick in like...
Ever since Zdarsky pitched the idea of those two in this shared universe.
Yes. I like it. I think it's fun.
I like it. However, I think if Steve's dating anyone from DC, it should be Clark.
Well, and I thought that the whole point of that story was to say, like, they're comrades. They're not really like... I didn't sense any romantic tension in that book.
Didn't they get married and have a child?
No, I thought the kid was Trinity.
Okay. It might have been.
You're getting your Steves confused. You're getting your blonde Steves confused. Diana does have a type, unfortunately.
She does, yeah. Nobody let her know. I can't think of any other blonde Steves right now. This would have worked if I could.
If Alan Scott wasn't gay, he'd totally be Diana's type.
Yeah, but luckily for us, he is gay.
He is gay. Shout out Alan Scott.
Shout out lovers to enemies.
For real. But no, I mean, I like it. I like the idea of
it's fun.
Two like people that represent America, but not always like American, like with the government.
And I like the idea that they basically meet and they have their best moments when one of them's at their lowest. I think
that was a really fun
the
setup
fact
for
that
the
the idea that
story.
they're always bringing each other back from the edge is good.
I like that.
I know that book got a lot of heat for not having Steve kill Hitler, but Steve would be the one who says, no, we need to bring him to justice. And that's why you had the Human Torch.
And I was going to say, and real heads know who actually did kill Hitler in the Marvel Universe, because Jim Hammond doesn't fuck around.
Shout out to Ultimate Jim Hammond and his whole monologue.
We're going to have a lot to say about Ultimates later in the episode.
Yes, we will, yeah.
I think we should move on to, literally the segment where we're allowed to talk about it. It's Yap session time. You know the rules. We get to talk about whatever random shit we've been thinking about. I'm going to talk about it. However, before we get into talking about the Ultimates cancellation, I want to actually talk about a different cancellation. Green Arrow. Thoughts, feelings, do we think it's going to last? Do we think they're going to come back? What are we feeling about that?
So I think it's pretty clear at this point that Green Arrow and Birds of Prey were both being canceled to make way for the Teeny Howard limited series that's going to be starring Birds of Prey. This is going to be starring, it's taking the name Gotham City Sirens and putting in Black Canary and Green Arrow, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for that, but I do hope that we get to see the return of the Birds of Prey and Green Arrow. If this is just they go on hiatus for 6 months for this series to come out, and then they come back at the end of the 6 months with the same numbering, I'd be fine with that. These creative teams are probably two of the best. These are probably two of the best books DC has coming out right now, especially in the main universe, and two of their best creative teams. And I think that canceling these books and getting this creative somewhere else and not bringing the books and creatives back in some way would be a huge mistake. However, I don't see DC really going back on it and being like, oh, well, fans want a Green Arrow back. I've seen people putting around a petition on change.org or something. I don't think that's going to get DC's attention.
No, it never does.
Good for you for feeling this strongly about it. It's not going to do something. But I do hope we get Green Arrow and Birds of Prey back.
You want some war flashbacks real quick? Remember when somebody made a change.org petition about Last Jedi to release their version of The Last Jedi with a completely new script?
I try not to remember that. I've been in Star Wars fandom too long to be able to remember and have a space in my brain for all the awful things and all the ridiculous things that have happened there.
No shade to anyone who feels like this will really, I appreciate your commitment to a character you love. But unfortunately, I think corporate America simply does not care what we have to say, unless we're really, unless you're boycotting Batman or something until we get a new creator. I just don't think it's going to happen. What I'll say is I think it's really interesting I believe it was Condon who reported that what DC specifically told him is that they don't want too many books of a character who traditionally sells low on the shelves. So between the Sirens book
and Absolute Green Arrow, which we'll see what direction that goes. I'm excited for both.
I'm excited for that book. Don't get me wrong, but
I would like to see a main universe Green Arrow instead of two alternate universes.
But here's my thing: is that I think it's an interesting thing to tell. Mm-hmm. To use as your excuse, because at least in my opinion, maybe the reason he's so low selling is that there's not enough content.
Yeah.
Maybe if there was more content, because let's be honest, how long of a gap was there between Williamson's run and the Green Arrow run prior?
I want to say
several years, right?
So the previous one started with Rebirth and went to, I want to say 50 issues. Mm-hmm. So probably at least 2 or 3 years.
Let me double check.
I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna say that the previous run ended around early 2020, and the next one started in the spring of 2023.
Green Arrow, using the Rebirth title, ended in 2019. And Joshua Williamson's run in 2023.
I remember that because that was literally our last week of freshman year. We went down the shop and we're like, hell yeah, we're going to buy this. This is going to get extended to an ongoing. And here we are now talking about his cancellation.
Interestingly, though, I will note, on League, it still does say 2023 to present. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that confirms that it isn't being canceled. I just think that's interesting.
I think that when the next solicits come out and it doesn't have something, it will get updated.
Let me check Birds of Prey while I'm here.
Birds of Prey, that started in the fall of 23. Because it started.
Birds of Prey is also marked as present.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that it's just because we haven't gotten the solicits without them.
I think of the two, I'm more upset about Green Arrow ending because it's so early. I would have appreciated a 30-issue run on Birds of Prey, just like a nice solid. 28 is such a weird number to cut things off.
It's disappointing to hear both Thompson and Condon talking about how they had these plans and are being not taken forcibly, but they would have liked to continue and being told that their books are getting cut short.
Speaking about books who are getting cut short, let's talk about the Ultimate Universe. So yes. I think by now we've all seen that infamous
graphic.
The graphic, the big black with the white font, the Ultimate Universe 2022 to 2025 or 2026. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say this right now. This is my
23 to 26.
Was it 23? Whatever.
Because that wasn't.
Well, did they count? Because Ultimate Invasion technically started. Hold on.
That was it started 23.
Was it?
Yes. So as they're checking this, we've seen that they're talking about it ending, and Hickman and Camp have both gone on the record to talk about this. Hickman saying that he's surprised that Marvel actually is following through on his plan, especially probably feeling a bit burned after Krakoa, where he laid out a plan and they didn't follow through on it. But in now putting a 2-year timer in his start, and Marvel actually is following through, it seems like he's pleasantly surprised by that. Whereas Camp, it seems, is on the other end, is kind of disappointed that it's ending, and has talked about how he had plans for characters and he's continuing to introduce characters for people to use, despite knowing that the universe is ending. And I think this brings into, what does it mean that the Ultimate Universe is ending?
Yes. So, I've gone on record as saying this, I'll say it again. I think this is all publicity, rage bait, whatever you want to call it. I think for Marvel, they've been so annoyed that they've had to call this thing the Ultimate Universe, and so they're using that 2-year time limit to be like, thank God we can call this something else because it's going to be less confusing. Because we know we've been getting the modern Epic Collection reprints of all the original Ultimate Universe stuff. I think they just announced Fantastic Four. I think to Marvel, was that a squirrel?
Yeah, that was a squirrel. Don't worry about it.
Live squirrel reaction to my take. What I was going to say, though, is that I think for Marvel, it has always been a problem that this new initiative has been called the Ultimate. They don't mind doing it. Mm-hmm. They just hate that it's called the Ultimate Universe, because to them, that's confusing. And I know to some people, there's been some confusion on whether or not you have to read it.
At least the fact that there's 10 years between the end of the first and the start of the second normally makes it pretty clear in my mind.
I would agree. So to me, at least, like, it's not that big of an issue. But I think for Marvel, it's been an issue probably since day one, honestly. Ever since when Kate's first was like, "Hey, I'm bringing back the Ultimate Universe."
It seems like his pitch might have even been to bring back that same universe, which might be why they were like, "Sure, use the Ultimate title."
I think,
and then all the Kate's Hickman stuff happened, and now we ended up with Hickman with a new idea and a new universe, and they already signed off on this being the Ultimate Universe.
Very happy to hear that Donny Cates is doing well and might be contributing something to Marvel here soon. Good for him. That's actually been the rumor that's been going around, is that this relaunch is going to be so we can get Donny Cates' vision of what this was supposed to look like.
So we see his vision and probably his Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, that was a little forced, but you know what? I'll give it to you. But no, I totally think, just look at the numbers, right? Ultimate Spider-Man always topping the best sales. The Ultimate X-Men is getting awards and brilliant reviews and
getting all your money because Peach Momoko.
And then you look at Ultimate Black Panther, which I know I haven't been following, but from what I've heard, a lot of people have been appreciating, especially since we haven't had a Black Panther ongoing since Eve Ewing's run got canceled.
Yeah. And then the Ultimates started out being incredible, top talk of the month every month, although it feels like it has kind of petered out.
I think for Camp, it's a protest book now.
Okay.
It's become a book for him to be like, I'm really frustrated with Marvel. Here, I'm going to do my own thing. And yeah, it's probably not good, but that's because I want to get my piece out. I don't really care what the plan is.
Yes. And Ultimate Wolverine. That's a book that's coming out. It's gotten some good reviews. It's gotten some bad reviews. I don't know.
It reads like a different Chris Condon, honestly. Like, reading Green Arrow versus reading Ultimate Wolverine, it's like, this is the same guy? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a book that's coming out, and I know some people love it, so more power to you.
This That's not to say, though, that if Saladin Ahmed gets bored with Wolverine, I don't want Condon to take over, because I really do, because I think he'd do a very good job. But Ultimate Wolverine does not read like the same man that I've been reading in Green Arrow.
So what do you think is going to happen at the end of Ultimate Endgame?
I think it's like the end, ... and a new beginning, and then it's going to be a big splash page, and then whatever the new name that they're going to call this is. I put Prime out there, but I think that'd be too confusing with DC's stuff. I honestly don't really know what they would call it. Maybe they could call it just like Makerverse. They could call it, I don't know. Just,
NU, new.
Sure, they could call it the new you.
Or I'm just thinking new, so it'd be new Spider-Man, NU Spider-Man. I don't like this, but I feel like it's something they do.
I think Marvel is always very anxious about books that run longer than 10.
Yes.
And having a locked-in contract of all of these books are going to last 2 years was really anxiety-inducing to them.
Oh no, booking to 24, how awful.
So now that they can relaunch at a new number 1, they can cancel them whenever they feel is appropriate, and relaunch them whenever they feel is
Do you have
appropriate.
any idea what these new titles might look like, or perhaps old titles?
Ultimate X-Men is definitely getting a continuation. Even though it's the title I think is coming the most logical ending, I still think it's the one that Marvel realizes is very popular and is coming back. There's no way Ultimate Spider-Man's going anywhere. Hickman's not coming along.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you that for free, but maybe Chip will jump on. Chip was originally supposed to write Ultimate Spider-Man. Maybe he'll jump on.
At least offered it, yeah.
That'd be fun.
Do you think Camp's taking on Ultimates?
I think if it's real, if when he says like I'm really upset about the cancellation and like I had all these plans, if that's real, then no, he will be leaving because he will be frustrated.
Yeah.
If
Although
it's
what
all
you're saying is that this isn't real.
No, famously, Denise Camp will lie to promote books.
Go check out, the Ultimates number 4 to find out what's going on in Doomsday.
Yeah, and that's fine. I think it's really funny, and 2, like, for people who believe it, I'm sure they'll have a great emotional catharsis when they announce the new thing, and they're like, "Wow, I didn't think this was happening," even though I've been thinking it's been happening. Honestly, since when Ultimates 1 dropped and we got that like end page teaser of like this many months till the maker is here, I was like, oh, so that's when we're getting the relaunch. Cool.
Okay.
Like, thank you for the heads up. Appreciate that. Is there anything else we want to yap about?
So I'm going to talk about my take on this. I think that I like to think that this is real, that they kind of learned from Krakoa and seeing the mixed reception after Hickman left and are saying, okay, we don't want a repeat of this. We will end this universe. Now, perhaps there's going to be some time travel shenanigans that ends with maybe the Maker, instead of the Maker going back and creating this universe, perhaps it's the Doom of this universe. So it's a Reed Richards who is still heroic, but much more cynical than a Reed we know, starting things over, and we follow that universe. It might have a new title, but everything goes back to one, but a new status quo, a new beginning. And then ultimately that could lead to some other thing. Maybe 2 years from there, we have Prime Reed Richards come back and start it because they love doing the same thing over and over again. See Age of Revelation, Age of Apocalypse, Age of X-Men, yada, yada, yada. Or they just say, that's the end, this was a fun experiment, and move into some other initiative in line.
So you have the rare expectation that Marvel is prioritizing authorial intent over money. Am I reading this correctly?
I think that they have other plans for money and are going to put those into place after this.
That's fair.
Because, like I said, a lot of people reacted poorly to Krakoa after Hickman left. And if this would be the same scenario, if Hickman lays out a plan with his whole arc and defined endpoint, and then Marvel says, actually, no, we're not doing that. Hickman, you go do whatever you're going to do. And I feel like that might, I don't know, it might get better reception if they do it again, but I feel like they don't want to risk it.
That's very interesting.
Especially now that he's moving on to Imperial and might stick around in the cosmic sector for a bit. I feel like he wants to do an Imperial Guard book, and ever since Hoxpox number 1, he's been begging Marvel to let him do an Imperial Guard book. It feels like
It definitely.
an Imperial is him getting on his knees and saying, "I'll do it, anything it takes."
It'll be definitely interesting to see. You know, we're getting this new. I say new, like this isn't like the 5th time they've tried to relaunch Marvel Space. But we're getting this new era of...
Yes. I'd say this is the biggest one since Annihilation.
Oh, easily. I loved what Al Ewing was doing in Sword and Guardians, but this is nowhere near like that.
Yeah, that was a writer getting a corner to himself. This is Marvel taking a portion of their universe and putting it out from scratch, basically.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. On that note, the last thing I kind of want to yap about here, and this can go for DC or Marvel, is there any like sides of the world or characters that you think deserve? You know, we're coming up on the end of the year. It's about to be 2026. Like, who are some characters or like sides of the DCU and the MU that that need
said Earth 0 and 616.
Oh, naturally, that need to come back.
So Teen Titans.
Yeah,
Teen Titans / Young Justice / Good
It's been
Titans.
too long.
And I'm going to lump in a Good Titans book in this. I feel like if they want to do something, I don't know what the status quo for this could be. Teen Titans Academy felt like a good idea, but just fell through.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you do a Teen Titans Academy book and use characters that are already established, rather than trying to make it a new cast, it might sell better. You have a status quo of the classic Titans being teachers. You can have Young Justice kids as the older jock kids. They aren't all jock. They're all theater kids at heart. Let's be real.
That's fair.
And you get some of the Damien's age kids in there as the new kids, and you can kind of alternate between the three and meld their stories together. I think that's something that lots of writers have wanted to do and never really found a good way to do it. Like Jeff Johns' Teen Titans was bringing in some of the old Titans and the Young Justice kids and putting them together, and that worked well enough, but also it didn't really match with some of the other characters. Damien's Teen Titans by Ben Percy was taking those same characters that were part of the John Teen Titans and putting them with Damien and Wallace and Aqualad. Kind of worked, but again, it's weird to see that dynamic. I think putting them in that type of setting, even if they could even be like JLU, where you have this whole team and you pick and choose which characters you want to put on which missions. Some way to take DC's young heroes and give them more stories.
Well, let's be honest. We still need to get Bendis's stink out of the Young Justice world.
Yes, we do.
I feel like we're still living in the shadow of that.
Mm-hmm. I can go on and on.
Infamous feels like an understatement. It shouldn't be, but it is.
Also, that goes for the whole Bendis era of DC.
Oh, for sure.
But also, I'd like to see the Outsiders come back.
Oh, fun.
Not necessarily the hive mind Outsiders. That had a controversial enough reception that I don't think DC wants to go near that again. I want to see the Outsiders come back. But again, not as a Batman team.
Where is Geoforce in 2026? That's the question we should be asking.
Well, I don't really want Geoforce on this team. See, my Outsiders pitch is very different. It does take some bad characters, but it's not a bad team. My idea for the Outsiders is give me a team that's working to tackle systemic issues. Let them take on Wayne Tech and the damage it does to communities. Let them be a group of people who are outsiders in the world, fighting for the outside against the traditional status quo.
As long as Metamorpho gets to stay on the team, I'm fine.
You
literally just gave the perfect pitch for a Metamorpho plot, and you're gonna be like, but no Metamorpho.
No, because this is a team. This team is, in my mind, you get Mia Dearden, you get Duke Thomas, you get Harper Rowe. Why not throw Renee Montoya question here? A bunch of queer POC, Mia Dearden with HIV.
Okay, I see what they're.
And Metamorpho is kind of an old straight white guy, unfortunately, and orange and purple, but yeah, he doesn't feel. Put him with get Al Ewing back on his book. I wasn't a huge fan because I thought too much about the chemistry of it all, and I don't think I can ever read a Metamorpho book because of that. But, Al Ewing clearly had fun on that book. Get him back.
Your level of frustration reading that first issue is maybe one of my favorite memories of all time. It was truly astounding.
How does that compare to when they mentioned benzene in Green Arrow, and I dove into the research to see if that was accurate?
But that was out of love. That was out of you being like, oh, I really hope this author has actually put in the time to get the correct one. The Metamorpho one. Again, Crash Out feels like an understatement.
But Al Ewing had fun with the book, so I'd say, sure, let's bring him back. As for Marvel, a corner they should bring back, it is kind of the same answer, but what's going on with the Champions and the Young Avengers? Where are they in 2026?
It feels really interesting to me that both Avengers Academy and...
Avengers Academy, that's another one to throw in there. Specifically the Infinity comic.
Well, I was just going to say, you had Avengers Academy, you had a little bit of NYX, you had a bunch of books that were, dancing around the subject.
Even Imperial kind of.
Oh yes, Imperial for sure.
I think that coming up, and obviously we have the Wiccan book where it seems like it's at least going to involve him saving Billy. No, saving Teddy, sorry.
He's saving himself, frankly.
He is. But Billy, Teddy, Tommy, their names all get mixed around in my head
They
a
do.
lot. But if we have Wiccan going to save Teddy, it seems like that's a way to bring in some of the other kids. And I'm just going to say, Stephanie Phelps has been teasing a book that's been her dream project at Marvel to write for a while. She seems like someone who'd want to write a Young Avengers book.
She does seem very Young Avengers. Maybe that'll bring back some goodwill between me and Stephanie Phelps.
As long as she doesn't touch Corsair in the book.
Yeah, just don't touch Corsair. We'll be fine.
So you talk about my crush out about Metamorpho. You seeing Corsair and how he was in Phoenix might be bigger.
Okay, but I'm right, though. Like, what was that? And then she didn't explain it. Whatever. Cable's in there now. She's trying to win me back.
So what about you? What do you want to see Marvel and DC pick up again?
You're gonna roll your eyes because I bring it up all the time, but it has to be said: the fact that there is no Savage Land content in 20, I see you.
And for those of you who are not staring at us through the window, that was me doing an overdramatic eye roll.
I don't care. I think there needs to be more Savage Land content.
I think that would be fun. I think you should put Hickman on a Savage Land revamp and just see what he does.
Why not? We can get the mutates in there, like forearm, but not the one that everybody knows.
Yeah.
We could get Sauron. Sauron always needs some more
Get
love.
Sauron ongoing, maybe.
That'd be fun. Or even just like
they just did the Rogue Savage Land book, reintroducing people to some of these concepts like Zaladane. Why not?
As far as we know, X-Men Green are still a thing.
Yes.
Like none of Krakoa's
Sauron,
fall affected that.
Sauron and Armageddon Girl and
Curse.
Well, Curse was in Realm of X.
Oh, that's true.
But she can come back from that.
We could throw somebody new on there.
Yeah.
Maybe the Savage Land mutates.
There we go. Yeah.
Could be X-Men Green. I just really think that Heavy Metal's relaunch and Savage Sword of Conan's relaunch have shown that we can have a black and white magazine for older fans in the 2020s. Bring back Savage Tales, bring back Kazar and Zabu. Let's have some fun. Like, I understand a lot of people's hesitation where it looks boring, it looks like an outdated concept, but I think there's a lot of fun that you can have when you're just like, screw it, let's go old school.
I think the idea of taking an outdated concept and bringing it to the modern day and making as few changes as possible is always fun. But it's what I was talking about with Jubilee and Tim.
Yeah.
But keep these ideas rooted in where they were and see what do those roots do when they're in the modern day and for modern audiences.
I also think by making it a black and white, oversized title in the magazine format would justify characters that, if we're talking about like DC's thing with Green Arrow, Kazar has also not traditionally sold well, but if you make it a $6.99 black and white magazine, it's essentially paying for itself at that point.
Bring back Kazar and Shauna and Zabu and all those fun characters that nobody cares about except you.
Where's Necra been since Krakoa? Put her in the Savage Land. Why not?
Exactly. Why not?
Where's Zaladane been? Dead. That's the answer.
Yeah.
But guess where she died? In the Savage Land. Bring her back. Necra could revive Zaladane. How fun of a concept would that be?
Don't talk too much or someone's going to steal your pitch.
The two queens should queen out together, frankly. And then as for DC, I mean, honestly, you know me, there's a lot of parts of DC that I don't think are getting as much love. I think
What's been happening in DC space recently?
There's a great example.
We have two Green Lantern books, but nothing about what's Adam Strange been up to.
I enjoyed the Hawk Girl mini. I was a little disappointed we didn't really get much what's going on with Rand and Thanagar, what's going on with this and that.
I think if it got branded as a Galaxy mini starring Hawk Girl, it would have been received.
It would have been a lot better. Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe even with the Galaxy graphic novel coming out next spring, we're going to see what happened there. Perhaps that could tie into something going on in space.
I think it'd be fun.
We know that Nicole Maines is going to be doing, I think it's called Justice League Odyssey again. And I guess that is kind of what we were talking about right here. It's Starfire and I think Dreamer and Galaxy and Green Arrow and Adam Strange all together. I'm excited to see where this goes. It feels very inspired by Morrison's 52.
Oh, very.
But also with her pet character in Galaxy, who's I feel like it'd be fun.
Pet by association.
I think it'd be fun to kind of establish that quo where Galaxy just sees Dreamer and goes, "You're my sister. I'm going to follow you everywhere," and establish that dynamic with them.
I think that'd be fun. My other part of that I'll say is that I've been loving all these new Justice League teams that we've been getting. There is, however, a very noticeable exception that we haven't gotten. The fact that there isn't a Justice League Dark ongoing now.
That's not where I thought you were going.
I really think that's a shame. You know, Spurrier's Hellblazer just wrapped up, so like John's on the table. He can be somewhere. We know the new Zatanna book is coming out, so that's a fun thing we could cross over with. Etrigan's getting. It seems like we're getting Justice League Dark, but in everything but name, and that frustrates me.
See, I thought you were going to talk about Justice League International.
Whatever.
Justice League Europe, Justice League Antarctica.
They're all murderers.
I think it'd be fun to
Me when I've only read Human Target.
And when they're doing what they're doing with having the Justice League Quarterly basically coming back with the Dark Tomorrow special,
yes,
and stuff, I think Justice League Antarctica one shot would be kind of fun. Let some more comedic writers take that. Take a bunch of these Z-list villains. Help bring Cluemaster back. He was a member of Justice League Antarctica.
Yeah, we've all been there. No, I just think like DC both loves their magic characters and also never knows what to do with them.
Yes.
And I think that's really frustrating because you ask any DC Magic fan and they have a minimum 5 ideas that they can do.
And I would say the same for Marvel, except they're doing Source of Supreme book. If they do something fun with it, then that fills that niche. However, if they do something that's very traditional, then I would say Marvel Magic could also use the same type of thing. You know who tried to do that? Hickman with Gods. Where did that go? Nowhere. Sorry,
that's what happens when you make it first issue $9.99. I don't care that there weren't any ads in it. That's still way too much.
Yeah.
Now you can find that in most dollar bids, and I think that says a lot about society.
It had a lot of interesting ideas, but unfortunately it needed more time to work, and with the price tag they gave it, it was never going to get that time. People would always see the price tag and balk at it. Look at me using fun words today, balk. That's after even talking about pastiches. You know, let's talk about this, just because I'm talking about it now. Who's your favorite cross-company pastiche you've seen?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think Gladiator is definitely up there. I love Gladiator. CalArc.
You're going to say that, so we'll jump straight into you saying the Imperial Guard for the Legion of
Yeah,
Superheroes.
I think they're really fun. I like that they're also their own characters, though. Like, I was saying nice things about Red Tool earlier when we were talking about ships. My one problem though with Red Tool is that he's just Deadpool, and there's not really anything too deep about it. He even has yellow text boxes. They're shaped like utilities, of course, but
they're still just the same.
It's the same thing. But you compare that to CalArc and the rest of the Imperial Guard, and it's like, wow, these are like actual characters. I actually have a pitch. Speaking of,
course you do.
Of doing a parody of Reign of the Supermen, but it's all Marvel pastiches of Superman.
Okay,
so Hyperion.
Is Hyperion one or is
CalArc
Hyperion dead?
No, Hyperion would be alive. I would swap out CalArc for Kid Gladiator though, so you have your Superboy parallel.
Don't call me Superboy. Don't call me Kid Gladiator.
I do have my notebook. Who else did I write down for this? Oh, Mimic! Mimic has to be in there. Fuck you, fight me. Mimic is a Superman pastiche. The X-Men, the Gen 1 X-Men are each part of Superman, so Mimic by default.
Famously, Superman's telepathy.
Well, whatever. Hey, guess which one Mimic traditionally doesn't have?
Exactly.
Telepathy.
Yeah. Okay, I see the vision.
And the Scarlet Witch.
Exactly.
Oh, Blue Marvel. That was my other.
Okay, Blue Marvel. So is he filling kind of the Eradicator role in this?
Well, I was thinking Steel, but...
Oh yeah, Steel, obviously. Okay, and now for the most important part of Red Superman, where's Supergirl?
That's the one thing, is that Marvel doesn't really... I mean, like... I guess you could throw...
Who's the Lex of it all as well?
Well, that I have an answer for. I think it...
Because during Red Superman, Supergirl is taking down LexCorp and Lex Luthor, quote, Jr.
Maybe Titania and Doctor Doom? There's some blood there because of Secret Wars.
You are going to read Supergirl 94 one day, and you're going to like it.
It's sitting in my room.
Yeah, exactly. You have it sitting in your stack. You need to get to it. The Forgotten Red Superman book.
No, but I mean, like, I think it would be fun, like... See, the problem is like, I think Lex... I love him very dearly, but, like, his archetype is very... generic, so you could say a bunch of characters were like a Lex pastiche.
I was also say that he's too specific to the situation. With
also
Marvel.
Very true.
Because Marvel only makes pastiches of Superman rather than the Superman world. They've never gotten to do that. The closest is what is from Heroes Reborn, but also they didn't even really do a Lex in that book.
It was Doctor Doom fused with.
That was the Doomsday though. I think it was Doctor Doomsday even.
Yes. Well, I know that was the one in Amalgam. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, this might have been Doom and Venom.
This is the problem with
it's Black Skull.
Yeah, that's Black Skull. Oh no, wait, it could have been Doctor. Yeah, Doctor Doomsday was definitely Amalgam because they wouldn't have their rights.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Heroes Reborn was a fun idea that kind of didn't work. I liked the idea of taking the champions and making them Young Justice, but it didn't really work.
Well, they already did it in the 80s with the Squadron Supreme maxi series. It's like, if you want to see these characters, if you want to see a Marvel take on the Justice League, just go read Squadron Supreme.
It was just Squadron Supreme mixed with the House of M and didn't do either of them particularly well.
It didn't do either of them well, for sure.
I like the idea of Blade and Robbie being the ones who remember that. That was cool.
That was fun.
I just like Robbie. I think that's what it comes down to because I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, and then you want to talk about like the DC side of it. I always think it's interesting how little DC
and
parallel, like
specifically for having two universes that are Marvel pastiches that doesn't do anything with them, which I think might be for the best, honestly.
I know in the Authority they had like that soldier version of the Avengers where it was like it was the Avengers, but they're all like
the Ultimates.
Yeah, but yes, literally. Actually, it's a funny story. As much as the Elite are a parody of the Authority, I think there's a strong case to be made that there is some Avengers parallels there. I think Manchester Black and Tony have a very similar sort of like, I used to believe in the heroes of old and now I'm my own hero. Mm-hmm. You know, you look at like, because what comes to mind immediately is like the way, not to bring in the MCU, but like the way like Tony and Cap talk to each other in that first Avengers movie, where Tony's like,
gay?
Well, yeah. Well, and Tony's like,
Manchester and Superman. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying the way Tony's like, you know, I grew up on stories of my father talking about you, and like I used to think you were the big cheese, and
no, that's Shazam.
Yes. But now I'm my own man, and I'm gonna make my own. I just really like Manchester Black, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to use any opportunity to talk about Manchester Black.
You know what you could do? A Cap's Kooky Quartet.
That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm. Take Superman. Let's take one of this.
Green Arrow.
Take Green Arrow. Take a Flash character. And then...
Impulse.
Impulse could work. And then who's the Scarlet Witch of the team? Zatanna is too obvious.
Madame Xanadu?
Maybe Xanadu.
Black Orchid?
The thing is...
Nightshade?
Keep it kooky.
Nightshade.
Captain America. Let's take Roy Harper, Wally West, and Nightshade.
See, you were saying Superman for the Cap parallel. My first thought was Guardian.
Okay, Guardian. Okay.
Same creator, man with a shield who's a super soldier.
And, you know, I don't love the Young Justice show, but putting Guardian and Roy together, you can do something.
It is a good... They have a good
okay, here we go. So we have Roy Harper, we have Guardian, we have... Honestly, Wally probably works better than Wally. Then.
Yeah.
And you said Nightshade?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. DC, the idea is yours.
Yeah, free Cap's Kooky Quartet parody.
Guardian's Goofy
Group. Oh, Guardians Goofy Group. Write that. Hold on, that's copyrighted now. Sorry, that's too good.
We're taking that back.
We're taking that back. DC, you can't have that.
But Marvel, if you want to make a parody of the Guardians Goofy Group, go for it.
Speaking of some goofy groups, I think we should talk about our favorite goofy group that we love to lay into. It's your favorite segment and mine. It's the Bat Fam Slander Hour. What should we dive into? Okay, I have two thoughts on what we can dive into for this one, and we'll decide live on air. We can either talk about just the sheer volume of Batman books versus Batman supporting character books. Mm-hmm. Like how we have a ton of Bruce and like nothing for anybody else.
We haven't gotten to Robin books since the Tim one ended.
Or we can talk about sort of the recent mess that has been the Hattush Fallout situation.
No, I won't talk about Hattush, just so we can say Hattush, Hawunch, Hathrish, Haforsh, etc.
So let's talk about that. We've had a lot of conversations about it. What's been so odd about the Hattush delays is that every book is acting like we know what the ending of Hattush is without not. We just read Nightwing 130, where you have that conversation between Dick and Bruce, where they're like, "Are we okay right now?"
Everything from the Red Hood book was about Hattush.
Spinning out from the pages of Hattush, but we don't know what pages because we haven't seen them.
Honestly, I feel like you could just go and read any comic from after Hawunch, and that's just where they are now, and it's the same.
My problem with it, regardless of how Hattush is going to end, is that this feels about the same level as was it Gotham War, right?
Yes, Gotham War.
So why are we acting like this is a bigger deal?
Because this is a nostalgia book with Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee.
Good answer.
And also, there's no Romani woman writing on this.
Also,
so
very true.
So it's a big deal now. Shout out to Jeannie Howard, my beloved.
I just everything about this book frustrates me.
Yeah, and it feels like that's the consensus among everyone. We've talked to multiple shop owners about this, and they're like,
we've talked to LCS owners. We've talked to Batman fans. We've talked to people who enjoy Hush. Which that's a rare. Hawunch, to be specific.
If you're rebranding to be Hattush, you have to be okay with everyone calling it Hawunch. And specifically calling it Hattush, so you can do Hathrish, Haforsh, etc. If you change the U, what do you expect?
I'll go as far as to say this. I don't think Hush is a character that can hold that many stories. He's not like... See, the thing is like...
Some characters have a lot of stories because they have a central idea that you can branch off of.
Yes.
Some characters are really good for a one and done because they have one idea that's really good to dive into.
Yes.
Some characters hold one story because they have one idea that you kind of dive into by scraping the surface, and that point you're out of ideas. Hush is the last one.
I was going to say, the problem with Tommy Elliott as a character is that we're supposed to be like, oh, he's Bruce's childhood friend. They have so much history together. Except he was only introduced in 2006.
Yeah. If you want to do a story with one of Bruce's childhood friends, you can do that. Well, really, you can't because they don't care enough to dive into Bruce's supporting cast from the main universe.
Bingo.
If you want to do a story with Bruce's childhood friends, go read the Ultimate books, apparently. I don't know, I'm not reading it because I don't like watching my favorite characters suffer.
I will say, so here's my thing. If Hush had been introduced back in 2006 as just a one-off, or as like a recurring villain, and we only learn like maybe a year after he debuts that he's Tommy Elliott, doing the original Hush story now would hit really hard.
Yeah.
Because then we've had time to get to know Bruce and Tommy's dynamic. We know that they're long-term friends, yada, yada, yada. The problem with doing Hattush is that Hawunch already exists.
And you've done the one Hush story possible. And they're talking about doing, the plan ever since Hattush started, almost a year ago, was that this would be the first part of the story, and later we'd get a mini-series doing Hathrish. What's that going to be?
What more is there to talk about?
The status quo is moving on. And from what I've seen, Loeb doesn't care that the status quo moved on since Hawunch. Why is he going to care what's happening since Hattush? And then what's the point of all these books taking place in between if everyone has to act like the Hathrish is going to be the canon version?
So let's get into that, actually. The delays. Let's talk about the delays. What do you think what is the causes? Because there's been a bunch thrown out. You know, people have been slagging Jim Lee, saying Jim Lee takes too long to draw. People are saying it takes Loeb too long to write. There's the secret third option that I think we both agree is what the real situation is.
So let's first talk about the first two before we move into what we think it is.
Jim Lee can draw just as fast as anybody. Look how many covers.
He's still putting out variants.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's getting variants out every month.
He's fine.
Loeb writing, maybe.
He's getting up there. I could understand that maybe it takes him a while.
It might take him, I don't know if it takes him a while to write, but I think what it does take him a while to do is rewrite.
Yes.
And I think that's the secret
third option. And now it's time for the secret third option.
They're seeing all this backlash and they're trying to find a way to salvage it and keep the ending. And the hard part is now, they have to keep the ending the same. Everything's coming out referencing the ending of Hattush. So even if they're rewriting the middle, it will have to get to the same endpoint where things make logical sense.
However, they do have a very nice, vague outline, because the only way that Hattush has to end is that a bunch of people are upset at Bruce. That's a pretty easy mandate for yourself.
That should be the status quo, honestly. Looking at these, if we let characters grow, they should all be kind of upset at Bruce. I love what Tom Taylor did with Dick and Bruce. I do think that Dick and Bruce have a kind of strange relationship, given everything. Jason and Bruce, obviously tense. I think that maybe Tim and kind of Damien are the only ones who should be standing by his side in most situations.
You want to do something fun real quick? So I'm going to list to you in order of how the rating has gone down for Hattush, and then we're just going to get your live reaction. So Batman 158, the first issue.
Hattush, yep.
The start. 3.7.
Okay, that's higher than I expected.
And from what I've heard, it wasn't that bad.
Okay.
So, you know what? That makes sense. Let's cut to this.
It was just people... I feel like the thing is, with Hattush, people who are already apathetic aren't buying and reviewing and rating it.
For sure.
So people who are excited about it are going to give it a 3.7. That makes sense.
So then we're on to part two.
Okay.
For some reason, the chapter is called The Rook. Do they all have chess names? Oh dear God, they all have chess names. That's so pretentious. I just learned that.
Oh, no.
Oh God. Okay, part
Okay.
2. Okay,
The
so we
Rook.
started with the 3.7.
Yep.
We're down to a 3.2.
Ooh, what was part one's chess name?
The pawn.
The pawn. Oh, you're starting with the pawn? Okay, so the pawn has a 3.7. The rook is a 3.2. Already you're starting to...
We're dipping a little.
Yeah.
And this is still within like coherent release order because
Yeah.
the first issue came out
What is the name?
March 26th.
March. I was going to say May. That just...
This came out April 23rd, so we're not on any delays yet.
Yep.
We cut to part 3, which also kept in time.
The night?
This is May 28th. Yep, it is the night.
Okay, and I'm going to guess that this got a 3.0.
This is a 3.1.
Okay, 3.1.
So still like
And yeah,
mostly
as
positive.
it's coming out at a normal schedule, the reviews are kind of dipping, but also staying above a 3. So then part 4 is going to be the
We
bishop.
hard cut to the queen.
The queen. Okay.
Remind you, this is the one that has Batgirl on the cover.
Wait, which Batgirl is it again?
Babs.
Oh yeah, of course. Why would it be anyone else? This is low.
So this is 161. This is coming out July 23rd.
I'm gonna guess we're below a 3 on this
So this one had a month delay.
one. Okay. Which sure that happens.
So you said how much?
I'm guessing this one is below a 3.
It is below a 3. Do you want to try to get more specific?
2.8.
2.9.
2.9. Okay. So still it's going down, but relatively steady. So the section's gonna be the bishop.
The next one.
They aren't doing. Please know they aren't doing the king yet.
The next one, which won't come out until
Oh,
November
no.
12th. We don't even have the title for it.
Okay.
So who knows? But yeah.
So the next issue is November 12th. Still almost a month, just under a month away.
Yep.
And then there'll be the last one.
And yes, which as of right now is coming out January 28th.
Okay.
So-
and January lists are coming out soon, so we'll see.
So again, to our credit, right? To the credit of the theory, there was only a 1 month delay between 160 and 161.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, maybe they're just like,
Yeah.
whoops, sorry, I didn't
slow
finish
down
it
on
yet.
ours. Yeah.
Between 161 and 162, there will be, hold on, let me, so August, September, October, November. That's 4 months.
That's more of a delay than some comics get in their entirety sometimes.
That's 4 months. There is no way that they aren't completely restructuring
Yeah.
what this book looks like.
And just for fun, can you go see when the first trade of the Matt Fraction Batman series comes out?
I would love to.
Because if Hattush is supposed to end in the end of January,
January
that's it
20th.
right now.
Yep.
When we talked about this for a while with back when Johns was finishing up his JSA. We're like, wow, this book is getting so delayed. Could you imagine something more than this? Imagine if Lemire JSA comes out before Johns is done.
They're saying that the Fraction Batman volume won't come out until June
Okay.
2nd.
So if we do get it, so we're not going to get that before the end of Hattush.
What about the
hope.
hardcover?
I think they started time more releasing those.
Yep.
Yeah. But the fact that we're already 2 issues into Matt Fraction's Batman, and we're going to be like 5 or 6 in by the time that Hattush is done, assuming no more delays. That's the big thing. Assuming this doesn't get delayed more.
Issue 5 of Fractions Run will be coming out the same month that Hattush ends.
And frankly, I know which one I'd rather spend my money on. Neither, and go put it towards Batgirl.
Yeah, but like, it's just embarrassing. It's really embarrassing.
Yeah. I don't know what more to say beyond. It's embarrassing. And I feel like this is going to be a blunder. Remember the same way that we still talk about Marvel promoting the Inhumans in IVX.
I think it'll be like that. I think it'll be in the way that
Convergence is talked about.
Convergence is talked about, specifically like the Superman glazing and then immediately killing him off.
Or even the hyping up this big event that they're really just using to kill time for a bit. And the fact that, like, this isn't even a delay, but the fact that Zdarsky stayed on Batman longer than he was ready for and had to come up with the Commander Star KGB plot to kill time to get ready for Hattush to start, and that it's getting delayed,
Could you imagine if the book actually ended on 150 when it was supposed to? That beautiful issue that's got you got the absolute power tie-in, but whatever. But you get that really nice issue where it's like him helping the Crook reform and stuff.
Kind of showing the thesis of what Zdarsky thinks of Batman.
That would have been a great way to end it.
And then starting all in with a brand new creative team, almost like that's what All In was meant to do. And switching creative team just a couple months in felt weird.
It's bad. It's bad.
It's a bad look all around for him. And this is Batman. This is DC is the house the Batman built. Just ask Will Arnett.
Well, and this isn't even to get into all the controversy around Jeff Loeb as an author. All of his very strange choices as of late.
Yeah. And even just the right choices in Hattusha of treating it just like we just moved. This is right after her lunch and not 20 years later.
And this doesn't come from a place of Jeff Loeb doesn't know how to write Batman. My favorite Batman story of all time was written by Jeff Loeb. I love The Long Halloween.
Yeah, nothing we say about The Long Halloween does it justice. And nothing we say about Hattusha does this mess enough justice for what it is. Good writers can write bad things, bad writers can write good things, mediocre writers can write good and bad things.
Hattusha is like the little island that it's on. It's
like when we brought up Ultimate Wolverine as something that is certainly going on. Hattusha.
For sure. I think with that we should get into our final segment, which we've just titled Trans Stuff. Do you have any ideas, or do you want to just kind of freeform?
Shout out Escapade. What's Marvel doing with her?
Very true. Actually, I have that problem with a lot of the DC and Marvel's big trans characters.
Yes. Escapade and Dreamer both had stuff that was incredibly well received, and nothing yet. And we know Dreamer will be in the Justice League one-shot whenever that is, and it's a one-shot, so who knows?
We know we're getting a sequel to Galaxy sometime here soon, so hopefully Dreamer is in there. Hopefully.
I don't know. We'll see.
At least it's something.
Yeah. I would love to see, at least on the Marvel side, we don't really know much about what's going on with Exceptional yet. After Shadows tomorrow, Eva Ewing has said that something is happening, and Emma is front and center in the promo. I think it'd be fun if we move Escapade into the Exceptional cast, add Shella and Kamala when we it seems like inevitably relaunch that title. Especially with the connection that Emma and Shella made in the Infinity comic and during Krakoa.
That'd be fun.
And on the DC side, I think that Nia could fit with the Titans.
I'm going to address personal.
I think Dreamer and Donna Troy would be a fun duo to have in a book.
I think frankly, the fact that Dreamer hasn't had more Amazon interaction, it seems like
that's a story that's ripe to be told, is about trans women finding acceptance among the Amazons.
Well, especially since, from what we know of and correct me if I'm saying the race wrong, Naltorian culture, it seems very similar in that it's matriarchal.
Yeah.
So there could be some interesting,
parallels?
Yeah, there could be some interesting parallels there. I'm going to note a personal pet peeve. I think it's really frustrating. Well, first of all, I think it's just frustrating in general that Doom Patrol got canceled at 7 issues. But the fact that Coagula was finally coming back into the fold, only to have that book immediately be canceled.
And then she shows up again, but it's in the current Titans book, which is the current Titans book.
Yeah, bad. Especially now that Rachel Pollack is no longer with us, I think it's really important to sort of celebrate this character who meant so much to her and meant so much for the trans community, and it's just genuinely interesting. I think that's the thing critics will always come up with, is oh, you just want to see this trans character because they're trans. I would say for all the characters we mentioned, Coagula, Escapade, Dreamer, they're also just fun characters.
You know, it could be fun on the Marvel side as we bring this up. Bring back a S.H.I.E.L.D. type book
and
throw Dr. Charlene McGowan in there.
Yeah, I would enjoy that. I think there's a lot of potential with maybe re-examining some older characters. Cloud, where's Cloud been?
Yeah.
Cloud should come back in 2026, talk about all the weird gender nonsense.
Could have been fun in X Factor.
That would have been really fun.
And then I'm going to jump back to DC because Alyssa Yeoh,
sure.
Put her with, I was talking about my idea of Outsiders as a team of people who are outside traditional molds. Put Alyssa Yeoh in there.
I was really excited.
I'm a trans woman in Gotham. Of course they carry a weapon.
I was really excited to hear that Xanthe was appearing in...
she was in... Sorry, they were in one issue of JLU? Yeah, they were in one issue of JLU.
I was really excited to hear that. Still weird that there isn't some sort of ongoing
Justice League
Dark. Ugh. Alyssa Wong, Justice League Dark. You would buy every copy.
I would, yes.
You'd all the variants, every single one.
Only the variants that have Xanthi on them. Xanthi.
Alyssa Wong on
I'm not
writing,
sold.
Hayden Sherman on art.
Even a Spirit World revival. With
$1 billion to that idea. $1 billion to that idea.
I like it. I like it.
Alyssa Wong and Hayden Sherman on a Justice League Dark with Xanthi. We get Xanthi, we get John, because they already have some dynamics built up from Spirit World.
And Birds of Prey.
If we want to do the New 52/Rebirth approach, where there's one like normal character, how fun would it be to have Cassandra on Justice League Dark?
Okay.
She has some interaction in Spirit World.
This is just Spirit World too, but I'm still here for it.
But then we throw in with the new Swamp Thing. I can't remember his name.
Yes.
Lee? No.
Levi?
Not Levi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. We could throw him in there. Bobo obviously needs to be there. Bobo needs to be in everything.
Dead
frankly.
Man.
Dead Man.
I think he's still around after Night Terrors, right?
Yes. Yes, he is.
Okay.
That's another thing. Is that Night Terrors felt like it was building up to a new Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
Could you imagine like a Justice League Dark led by the reanimated corpse of Wesley Dodds? That'd be cool as hell. Anyway, that's not the topic of the segment, but I will put that out there. Also, Boston's an ally, right? Like, let's be honest. Boston is the biggest, but I think he's an ally in the same way that Rock Slide from X-Men is an ally. He'll call you a slur, but it's like, that's just to say it was how he was raised, and he doesn't know about
The
it.
Damian Wayne of it all.
The very Damian Wayne, yes.
Speaking of that, I think it'd be fun to get two more queer characters in the Bat family. We have Kate, we have Tim. Selena's bi, but only when they did a Pride cover.
Bluebird was gay in Gotham Knights.
Bluebird is bisexual.
Or no, it is. Okay.
Bluebird's canonically bisexual, and I think Gotham Knights was bi. She could have been gay. I just think that the fact that they had a Phoebe Bridgers song playing as Harper and Steph kissed says a lot
that's gay
about
as
that.
hell, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can't.
I think the gayest thing about that was the song and not the kiss.
Yeah, that's ironically the gayest part of that scene.
Well, okay, really what it is, the Bat family. There are lots of bisexual characters that they can throw with someone of the opposite gender when they need to, but just slap on a Pride cover once a year. Give me more explicitly
I just
queer
take on
characters.
Pride covers all the time. Mm-hmm. What's up with that?
And the one time he wasn't is in the current state of things.
Curious.
I don't know. I think we need more explicitly queer characters that more characters in the mold of Kate that but don't get sidelined as much.
I would really appreciate, since it definitely won't happen in her current ongoing, if Kelly Thompson would confirm that Absolute Wonder Woman is some variety of queer.
Is that not confirmed?
It's not yet.
I know Mainline Diana is bi when they can put her on a Pride cover.
Exactly. So the fact that Absolute Wonder Woman, I mean, let's be real. She is. You see how she talks
Does
to.
heterosexuality exist in the Absolute universe?
Is that what Darkseid took away from us being gay?
No. I'm asking, does heterosexuality exist?
That is a good question.
Because Bruce and all of his friends and Wonder Woman.
Whatever the hell the Martian and John have going on.
Also, a gay couple versus evil
intimidating wife. It's right there. It's right there for the taking. DC's first he him bisexual or he him lesbian.
First and fastest he him transbian Wally West. I think that might be what the Ultimate Universe really is. It's
whatever the hell the Rogues have going on. Oh yeah, Trickster's non-binary now.
Oh yeah, we just haven't gotten enough about
Good for
them
them.
to care yet, and I'm going to see more about the Rogues.
Non-binary and AFAB, if I recall correctly.
I would need to reread it.
I'm pretty sure. Not that it's any of our business, but I do think that's cool.
Mm-hmm. I think that Marvel and DC, I kind of get why they're cutting down on it, given the current state of things. There's a lot going on, and they care about the profit margins. But I think that it'd be a great sign to put more queer characters front and center, more explicitly queer characters front and center, not ones that you can shove off in a corner when you don't want to talk about it.
Everything that's happening right now,
and of course, bisexual people dating the opposite gender are still incredibly valid. But I like seeing in comics more representation of same-sex couples that are explicitly front and center. Because it seems like DC is trying to push back Tim and Bernard to a corner. Marvel has Kitty dating a girl that gets brought up, a handful of times in Exceptional, but not really doing anything.
Everything that's happening right now, as much as it doesn't feel like it, will pass. And we know we're on the uptick. You look at the way people talk about sexuality, and you look at the way people talk about transes. We're on the up and up. I think it's very short-minded of Marvel and DC to take the step back that they've been doing.
Yeah. Honestly, I know JLQ was a book that lost a round robin. I think they're doing so many random Justice League titles and one-shots. That would be a fun thing to do.
Bring back that all-trans X-Men team from the Infinity comic.
Mm-hmm. So just because the biggest strength we have right now in all this fear is the community.
I think it's really all that it takes. I also think that, like, just having them in book. See, this is the thing. I cannot stress this enough. Is it fun to have like a whole dreamer story about like being trans again? Sure. Great. You know what's also fun? Just throw Nia the freaking, I don't know, shooting laser beams in the back of a...
She gets to shoot laser beams.
You know what I mean. Like,
yeah. But Escapade is perfect cameo fodder.
Cameo
for
fodder.
Books.
Just having her just on a team, and that's just, she's just here. How fun would it have been to have her in Mark Russell's X Factor as like the token like queer person?
I think that,
for Click Clock views.
Escapade or Cloud for that role. Just
that would have been
putting
fun.
them there, give a whole issue dedicated to them. And I think this is why Cloud would work, or some smaller character that is very queer. Have a whole issue with them front center, for them to die, and immediately the next issue have a different character and act like nothing happened.
We will always sing the praises of that unfortunately cut way too soon series.
But I'm going to say, we have the chance, Exceptional X-Men could be the queer X-Men book. And there's been a lot of outcry against how much the allies have been featured in Uncanny. If you want to move some of the kids into Exceptional, take Jitter and Calico, put Shell on the team. Carl isn't explicitly queer, but I mean, she's a...
Much like her namesake, she's never had a normal relationship with a woman.
With how much she was on AO3 or whatever the Marvel equivalent is, we know.
The MO3.
I think that there's a lot of potential for Marvel and DC to push more of their queer characters front center and more explicitly queer. And
absolutely. Well, and like, there's so many characters that like they'll randomly be like, oh yeah, this character's whatever, and then it never becomes.
Oh yeah, Dumbledore was gay the whole time.
Well, the less said about J.K. Rowling, the better.
Yeah.
But I was going to go for, because I'm biased.
Wasn't Dumbledore created by Hatsune Miku?
Thank you. I was going to go, because of personal bias, the fact that, like, both Deadpool and Cable are pan, but it never...
Is Cable canonically pan?
He's from the future.
Okay.
Fabian Isuzu was like, he finds plants sexy. Like,
okay. It's the future / space character of it all.
Yeah. But, like, the fact that both of them are, like, canonically queer, but, like...
Not dating each other.
Not dating somebody...
Shout out Valentine from
Shout out Valentine Vong. I'm very happy Ziegler brought them back, even if it was very brief, and to his Deadpool run. I have no doubt that Ben Percy will bring Valentine back in some form.
Fingers crossed.
Again, if we want to talk about, like, Boston Brand and Rock Slide style allies...
Is that what's her name, Blind Al is?
Oh, absolutely. Well, and just the fact that, like, Percy has shown time and time again that, like, he is a straight man, but he values queer storytelling. I mean, look at his Wolverine run. I think Connor Goldsmith said it best. It's, like, the most queer Logan has ever been.
And that's even counting the universe where he's dating Hercules.
Yes, that's even counting the Hercules universe.
I think on that note of pushing let's see more front center queerness in comics. I think on that note, do you have anything else to say today?
I just want to let people know that our next episode will be our first to feature a guest. We had a lovely conversation with Godzillard, talking about all things Force Works and Jeffrey.
And Ghost in the Shell.
Yes, I think y'all will very much enjoy it.
For everyone who loves anime and manga, make sure you tune in.
So that'll be coming out next week. After that, we're going to have another episode, just me and Spoiler. And then stay tuned for more.
We've got fun episodes of Just Us in the works. We've got a couple guests on the list.
Maybe we'll even do a more focused... Because let's be honest, we could turn Bat Fam Slander Hour into a whole podcast if we wanted to.
But we won't. We'll stay strong.
For now.
It might be an episode or two, but for now.
I think that'd be fun. But yeah, I think that's it. Unless you have anything else you want to...
This is Laney, SpoilerAlert, signing off.
And this is Cybershine3. See you next time.